Out on the trail taking a break, and I want to spend some time talking about one of my more recent additions to Project Overland Bison. As you can see behind me here, we're going to be talking about the RIGd Supply Ultraswing and exactly how the tire carrier works on a hitch mounted system. So a lot of features, a lot of the things I found over the last 2,000 miles of use both on and off-road, and of course what the little adaptations we had to do to make sure we could fit the ZR2 Bison bumper. The Ultraswing Multi-fit is, like the name implies, a universal fitment. However, there are some challenges with the ZR2 Bison bumper, and I'm going to go over what we had to do to make that fitment possible. As you can see, the bumper has the unique low tube bumper design, which is something that the guys at AEV created to provide better body protection, as well as an integrated piece that allows for factory recovery points. And these recovery points are fantastic if you don't have a swing that needs to mount right up to the bumper. So on this side, you can see this obstacle here. There are a couple of bolts that you have to remove, and a lot of actually integrated bolts on the inside so that we can get the clearance necessary to run the Ultraswing. So looking back to this side, you can see where there once was a recovery point, there's now a fascia. And in working with the guys over at RIGd Supply and using some of the rapid prototyping capabilities we have at MagnaFlow, we're able to 3D print a fascia insert. And in this case, I incorporated a nice little RIGd Supply logo, nice little add-on there that I liked. But also, we did some textures and things to make the piece more appealing. But really, all this is a fascia. If you don't have it, you can still run the Ultraswing. It just leaves a hole that's visually undesirable. So having that a removable part without having to cut or take apart that piece and leave a hole there was one of the things I wanted to address in getting the Ultraswing to fit on this particular fitment. So we're working together to figure out what we're going to do about making this available to anybody else interested, but that was the first step in getting the multi-fit system to work on the ZR2 Bison. One of the great parts of being able to work with the entire RIGd Supply team was I got to meet the engineers, the guys in sales, and the guys in marketing, and really understand their passion. And that became even more of an attraction to the brand once I realized that these guys weren't just building something that was a quote-unquote universal fit and go figure it out product. They really wanted to know that they had the best product that fit any application that was going to use it. And as we started doing more work to figure out what was going on with the ZR2 Bison, I got to realize that their actual data catalog of how to fit their universal products on very specific vehicles gave them a ton of knowledge on making sure that their consumer was happy with the finished product. This to me was the final piece of the puzzle where I said, you know, great product, great brand, but great people. And the people are really what make this product, I think, the best offering for a tire carrier. And specifically, I'm going to go over some more of those features in detail and the things that I've learned that maybe are behind the scenes that you may not find, that I found fascinating both as an engineer and a fellow manufacturer in the aftermarket. Probably the first thing to talk about with any kind of tire swing mechanism is how it integrates to the back of the vehicle. And the Ultraswing is a hitch mounted system, as can be seen here. This uses your typical receiver hitch. This one happens to be on the factory provided hitch system. However, if you had an aftermarket one, it would mount in a similar fashion. And as you can see, this one particularly mounts to a standard 2-inch style square hitch and will lock in place so you don't have to have any issues. Now, also you'll notice that there is a second provision here to mount other accessories. It's the dual hitch mounting system. But more importantly is probably this little yellow sticker that you see right on top. And I don't know if you can read that just there, but this is an actual rated hitch that's rated for 10,000 pounds. So you don't lose out on any of its capacity in putting the tire swing in to still carry a trailer behind. Now, any kind of hitch that you're working with is going to require you to have some kind of swing out mechanism. And this is something that they actually have a patent pending on, which is the curved arm swing out. And as you can see, it goes up, and you'll notice that the bumper is still the lowest part all the way to the corner. One of the other features you want to take a look at is the locking mechanism. In this case, we're looking at the Ultra Latch, and this happens to be the second generation of it. The first one served its purpose and function, and this one takes it to the next level. Aesthetically speaking, it's 6160 anodized aluminum, but if you take a look at the components here, we're talking about chromoly, but if you look at it, they're all clips, rebuildable. Which means if you're out there beating the crap out of your vehicle, bouncing around and using this latch in sand and dirt when it gets wear and tear, you're not looking at replacing the entire mechanism. You can buy a rebuild kit and get that new, fresh snap that you want to make sure that your swing isn't going to pop open when you don't want it to. Now, speaking to that, the swing also has a safety mechanism. So once this is open, even if that should open, there still is a safety pin. And as you can see, the safety pin here is connected and just is a pull pin. And once that is removed, it allows you to pull the mechanism open. And in the event that this latch should fail or is left open by accident, that safety mechanism will keep it from popping open. Once you've unlatched the swing arm and pulled the safety pin, there is a bearing system that's been set up on this, and this is something you can adjust. The nut at the bottom and the bolt at the top will allow you to put as much tension or as little tension as you want to make the swing open or close as easily or as difficult as you want it to. As you can see, on fairly level ground, I've got it set so that it doesn't move freely, but with a little bit of resistance. So if there's a little bit of an incline there, you'll see it will swing back, but it's not going to do so at any kind of great rate of speed. So once you're stopped and you no longer need the retaining pin to be used as a safety device, you can remove it, and it has a second function. As you remove it, you can see that there are 4 holes in the Ultraswing Multi-fit that allow you to position the swing in any spot that you would like between 90 and 180 degrees, and the pin will simply go in to retain it. This will allow you the full 180 open, and as you can see here, I am housing a 33-inch tire in their adapter for the straight out version. And what I mean by that is they do have offset angles here that allow you to push the tire further this way should there be interference with the body. So depending upon your particular fitment, they'll actually make recommendations on how to fit the tire you want on the body to ensure that you don't have a collision with your rear light assembly. So as you can imagine, the pivot point doesn't change, and if you had a wider body and a bigger tire, you would have to get one of those offset mounts for the tire to make sure it didn't collide. Now, speaking of other mounts, while we're here, you can see that I'm using one of the fuel packs by Rotopax, and with that mount, they have a number of different mounting systems to put everything on, from a camp table that if you want to cook and use for storage or working on things, or put in a particular storage device or fuel can, you can kind of pick the device that you want to do. The great part is everything is bolt-on through kind of the center spine that you see here, and you can pick a number of different accessories, and obviously you can go to their website to see what things they do offer. Lastly, I wanted to talk about its performance over the last month and a half or so, and almost 3,000 miles of use, and it's been a lot of heavy use. I've got all of my daily commutes, and I travel anywhere between 100 and 120 miles a day on the highway, so I got to deal with, washboard roads on the freeway, and that kind of bobbling effect that you get on the road. But I've also been through 60-mile-an-hour washes in the sand. This thing's had all 4 tires up in the air, and Glamis jumping some dunes, as well as some really heavy rutted washboard roads that I tried to keep up with a whole bunch of Raptors. Jerry, thanks for the invite on that. That was a blast. But insofar that I even came out of one of those daily events with a steering wheel that was about 15 degrees off clocked, as a pretty heavy impact on the front led to a relocation of my lower arm. It literally pushed it completely out of alignment. But with all that said, no contact, and that's something I will say is a testament to the design and what the guys at RIGd Supply built. There aren't a lot of tolerances here, and there's no signs of any impact whatsoever. It is one of those things that with the rear view camera in its current position, and I'll talk about how I'm going to address that as one of the last things we have to do to really make this system a complete install. There was very little movement. I mean, there are natural movements you're going to have from having a hitch mounted device with well over 200 pounds, the 60-pound overall weight of the Ultraswing, the 4.5 gallons of fuel, and the 106-pound wheel and tire combo. All of that is sitting on that 2-inch receiver, and yet there is no contact with the body. There's no issues with even that 1/4-inch tolerance. So it's a really, again, a testament to the amount of work the guys have done in creating a really solid product. So super happy with everything I've seen, and I can't really wait to getting into where it's going to take me, of course, with the 35-inch tire package coming up. And I think I may relocate the gas tank to make some room for a cutting table or work table, as I found that camping lately, I really do need that. The tailgate can't always be opened, or when it is opened, I'm using it for other things. So definitely want to reassess what goes on with the accessories, and that is one of the great parts, is it is completely modular. So as I change, my needs change, I simply change the configuration on the back. Taking a quick moment to just review how the kind of ride is inside and going down some of the rough roads. Here's an example of what it looks like inside the vehicle, and I'm going to pop it in reverse and activate that rear view camera so you can see. Right now I got a great view of what's going on. So I've been able to monitor this throughout the whole entire time of owning this, and as you can see, it just doesn't move. simply, I want to address the issue of the rear view camera. And that's something that I think with any of these hitch mounted devices or anything that you mount behind the vehicle has to be addressed. And I'm thinking about getting a second camera, leaving that one alone, and coming up with a quick switch mechanism that'll mount either inside the hitch or in the secondary hitch hole, because that's the nice part about their design, and run the wiring through and have a quick disconnect so that when this is attached, I have a second rearward facing camera that will still be integrated to the dash. So this is something I'm going to be working on my own. And just like the insert I created, I will be sharing that with anybody that's interested. I'm not here to make money, just here to see if I can do things that are fun and exciting for the community and help out with that. But at the end of the day, want to make something that meets my needs and of course gets me through the trail and has a great deal of functionality. So that really wraps up what I have to say. It's a very good device that was very well engineered, and I really come to enjoy the brand and more importantly, the people over at RIGd Supply. So thanks guys, you've made a great product, the Ultraswing. It's #1 on my list.